With the Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard just losing, yesterday, to the Denver Nuggets in 6 games, a lot of people have been wondering what's next for this Blazers team. So, they, of course, lost in 6 games, and it was not a good series for them. I mean, just looking at their box, so they won game one, lost game two, lost game three, won game four. So, but basically all of these were blowouts besides game three. But game five, mostly if you win game five, you win the series. Just look at the Lakers series, look at this series, and good chance even the Mavericks series who win game five. But Dame, 55 points, but lost by 7 points. I think there was like a statistic that Dame was like made like 8 or 10 shots in the fourth quarter and both of the OTs, and the whole supporting cast was like 1 for 19. And when you in the playoffs, it is a superstar league, but when the others have to step up. Norman Powell, he played okay. Rocco, I mean, he's been better, especially defensively, though. He's guarding Nikola Jokic at times, and when he's like 6'7", he can't really do anything. Nurkic, he's been fouling out a little bit. Isn't the same player ever since those injuries. CJ choked in that game. He missed some couple of shots. He of course stepped out of bounds. And just like even their bench, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Simons, those guys are okay. Melo, he has the experience. He went off in game one. But Enes Kanter, he can't play when Nikola Jokic is on the floor. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, props to Nuggets. MPJ, he played really well in game seven. In the game six, he had the 22 in the first half. Really impressive. Jokic came back to life in the second half, 36, 8, and 6. And Monte Morris off the bench. He's been really clutch. He hit a bunch of clutch free throws in the series, hit some jump shots, and yes, he kind of got smoked. Austin Rivers, they kind of got smoked by Dame a little bit, but Dame, I could tell, really got fatigued in the fourth quarter. And when you just came back from a double overtime game, and it's in Denver, you're going to get fatigued. So, what's next for the Blazers? Now, the title's probably Dear Damian Lillard. It's okay if you request a trade, or it's time for you to request a trade. And I don't know if it's going to be that far. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation. We'll talk about some places he might go. But the first thing they have to do is fire Terry Stotts. Just, that's no question. He's been the coach for like the last 10 years. Hasn't been that good. The only reason he's the coach is because Dame really likes him, and he's basically the only person. And maybe they have to trade CJ. Maybe they have to trade everyone. Now, personally, I think you have to trade CJ. CJ does not work with Dame, and they're so similar. And especially with Norman Powell also being really similar, you can't have three under 6'3" guards who aren't the best defensively. Powell was decent, and just go all in on scoring. I don't Now, the thing is that with the CJ trade, everyone knows that they have to get a defensive guy who can still put up like 15 points a game. But I don't know who that is, and I don't know anyone who knows who that is. Now, I thought before it could be someone like Victor Oladipo, but with him getting injured, he isn't the same person, so cross him off the list. Maybe, I mean, I can't even say at the top of my head what stars are available, who are good on both ends. There's just not many players in that league, but I personally think trade CJ, re-sign Norman Powell, start him at the 2. I do like Rocco as the defender, and maybe you get another defensive guy. But like I said, 3-and-D guys are very rare in this league. But if you are going to get them, you have to pay a lot. And I think that they have to pay a lot. They have to trade basically all their picks. But going back to Damian Lillard, his loyalty has been incredible, but it's going to hurt his legacy. It's going to hurt his career, no doubt. Because if he stays in Portland, he's not going to win a championship. Just think about all of the best point guards in the league. Steph Curry, a lot of people say Curry is better than Dame, no doubt about that. But think about it. Curry has had Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green in his career, and Klay and Draymond in his whole career. He's had some really good supporting casts, like he had Boogie, Iggy, and just some really championship teams. While Dame's best player was a LaMarcus Aldridge, who yes was an all-star player, but his relationship with Dame wasn't very good because their personalities didn't really mesh too well. But and then like CJ, he's an all-star caliber player. Nurkic, he isn't the same player. But yeah, so like Kyrie Irving, he's had LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, James Harden in his career. Russell Westbrook, he's had so much talent. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. These guys are really good players, and Dame hasn't been given that opportunity. Even somebody like Chris Paul, he's had James Harden, Blake Griffin, he had DeAndre Jordan, Devin Booker, and yes, it isn't as much talent as like Steph, Kyrie, or Russ, but still, he's had a lot of talent in his career. And Dame hasn't had that opportunity to be just have a secondary star, even and especially not having the chance to be the second option. Curry had the chance to be a second option with Kevin Durant, Kyrie with LeBron and KD. You had Russ with KD, and I would say Paul George and Harden, even like, yeah, just those guys. They've always had amazing teammates, and Portland hasn't constructed that team. Just think about that Rockets team. Daryl Morey, even though the owner of the franchise didn't want to go over the luxury tax, they made so many moves to find the perfect team for Harden. Now I know Blazers are more of a smaller market. Their fans are loyal to the soil, to their players, and they have a really strong connection. But I'm pretty confident that this will be the last season that this core will be intact. They're gonna blow it up. Now, like I said, I don't think you trade Dame. The first step is fire Terry Stotts, maybe trade CJ and Nurkic, and see what you have there. Then if that doesn't work, then you have to. I think you might have to trade Dame. I mean, Dame of course has like 5 years left on his contract, but just looking at some trade places, you have the Warriors maybe with. I mean, Steph and Dame would be so interesting. Just interesting is the right word. I may just the thing is that the Lakers, the Knicks, they don't really have the best assets to make a blockbuster deal like the Lakers. There's if they if okay, their players are going to be what KCP, Kuz, THT. They don't even have many first round picks. Even like maybe a sign and trade for Schroeder. Those three guys, Schroeder, Talon, they were barely enough to get Kyle Lowry. And Damian Lillard is way better than Kyle Lowry. And you have to have a better package than that. Like the Knicks, I don't know if they're willing to trade Julius Randle. Maybe you can package RJ, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, all of their first. That's an enticing offer, definitely. But I don't know if it's going to be enough for a superstar in Dame. The Warriors, James Wiseman, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, a bunch of first round picks. Maybe that's enough, but it might not be. And there's just a lot of mysteries with a Damian Lillard trade because he's so loyal to this team. I don't think this team is ready to blow it up yet. Though I do think that they have to make a move, but blowing it up completely, I don't think they should do that yet. But this team, I expect some really big changes. I expect a lot of changes from a lot of teams. The Lakers, the Heat, potentially even the Bucks or the Nets if they lose. But the Blazers, fire Terry Stotts, maybe trade CJ McCollum, build around Dame differently. If that doesn't work, trade Dame. But nobody will be mad if Damian Lillard requests a trade. It's the same thing as Beal. Beal, yes, is in a worse situation, but Dame been loyal to the soil. He through the grits and the hardships, he's been there the whole time and has been content there. He wants to build a championship team. He wants to stay like an OG to this team, like a Kobe Bryant to the Lakers, a Dirk to the Mavericks. But it may not be the best for his career.